Yawning. Why do we yawn? Have you ever noticed that yawning is almost impossible to resist? You could be completely awake, scrolling through your phone, sitting in class, or watching your favorite show. Then someone nearby yawns. And just a few seconds later, you do too. You weren't tired a moment ago, so what just happened? It's almost as if your brain received a secret command that it couldn't ignore. And here's where things get even stranger. You don't even have to see someone yawn. Sometimes just hearing the sound of a yawn, talking about yawning, or even reading the word yawn is enough to make your mouth open. In fact, there's a good chance you're already fighting the urge right now. So why does your body do this? The truth is, nobody knows for sure. Despite yawning being something every human does, thousands of times throughout life, scientists still haven't found one answer that explains it completely. What's even more surprising is that babies have been seen yawning inside the womb, long before they're even born. That means yawning existed before you ever took your first breath. One popular theory suggests that yawning helps cool the brain, almost like your body's built-in air conditioning system. Another theory believes it's a form of silent communication, inherited from our ancestors, helping groups stay alert by spreading wakefulness from one person to another. This could also explain why yawning is contagious, especially among friends and family. But no matter which theory turns out to be correct, one thing is certain: the next time you yawn, don't automatically blame sleep. It might just be your brain quietly sensing with the people around you, reminding us that even the simplest things our bodies do can still be some of the greatest mysteries. Eye twitching. Why does your eye randomly twitch? Have you ever been sitting quietly when, out of nowhere, one of your eyelids starts twitching? It's so subtle that nobody else can see it, yet to you, it feels like your eye is dancing on its own. You rush to a mirror, expecting to see something strange, but everything looks completely normal. Then, just when you stop thinking about it, the twitch comes back again. It almost feels like your body is trying to send you a secret message. So, is it something serious? Should you be worried? The good news is, in most cases, the answer is no. This tiny, involuntary movement is called an eye twitch, and it's surprisingly common. In fact, almost everyone experiences it at some point in their life. The biggest culprits are things we deal with everyday: stress, lack of sleep, staring at screens for too long, or simply having one too many cups of coffee. All of these can make the tiny muscles around your eye become overactive for a while. What's strange is that the harder you focus on the twitch, the more noticeable it seems, making it feel even worse than it actually is. Thankfully, these twitches usually disappear on their own after you get some rest, reduce stress, or give your eyes a break from screens. So the next time your eye starts twitching for no apparent reason, don't panic. It's usually just your body, reminding you that even the smallest muscles need a break sometimes, and perhaps it's your brain's subtle way of telling you to slow down before it finds a louder way to get your attention. Goosebumps. Why does your skin suddenly get goosebumps? Have you ever felt a sudden chill run through your body, and then looked at your arms only to find tiny bumps covering your skin? Maybe it happened because of cold weather, a creepy story, a powerful song, or even a memory that suddenly hit you. But here's the strange part: nothing is actually touching your skin. So why does your body react as if something is seriously wrong? Goosebumps are one of those ancient reactions your body still carries around, even though you probably don't need them anymore. When your brain senses cold, fear, excitement, or another powerful emotion, tiny muscles connected to your hair follicles suddenly contract. This pulls the hairs on your skin upright, creating those little bumps we call goosebumps. And believe it or not, this reaction once had a much bigger purpose. Imagine our ancestors covered in thick layers of hair. When those hairs stood up, they could trap more air close to the skin, helping keep the body warm. And when they were frightened, their raised hair could make them appear larger and more intimidating to a potential threat. But humans gradually lost most of that body hair, while the ancient reflex stayed behind. That's why today you can get goosebumps from a freezing breeze, a terrifying moment, or even a song that gives you chills. Your body is basically using an ancient survival feature in a completely modern world. So the next time your skin suddenly turns into a field of tiny bumps, remember, somewhere deep inside, your ancient instincts might still be waking up. Hiccups. Why do hiccups suddenly happen? Have you ever been completely fine 1 second, and then suddenly your body makes a weird little sound you never asked for? Hic. You try to ignore it. Hic. You take a sip of water. Hic. Now everyone around you knows something is wrong. But what exactly is happening inside your body? Hiccups begin when a muscle called the diaphragm, which helps you breathe, suddenly contracts without warning. That unexpected movement makes you quickly breathe in, and almost immediately, your vocal cords snap shut, creating that familiar little hic sound. But why does your diaphragm suddenly decide to do this? Sometimes it's triggered by eating too quickly, drinking something fizzy, eating spicy food, laughing too much, or even experiencing a sudden change in emotion. And the strangest part is that your body doesn't seem to care whether the timing is appropriate. You can be giving a serious presentation, sitting in a silent classroom, or trying to fall asleep, and suddenly your diaphragm decides it's time for a tiny concert. Humans have been dealing with hiccups for thousands of years, and researchers still don't have one perfect explanation for why this reflex exists in the first place. Some theories suggest it could be a leftover reflex from our evolutionary past. Others believe it may have something to do with breathing and swallowing. Whatever the reason, most hiccups disappear on their own after a few minutes. So the next time you get a random case of the hiccups, remember, your body isn't broken. Your diaphragm just decided to press the hic button repeatedly for absolutely no reason you can understand. Foot falling asleep. Why does your foot suddenly go numb? Have you ever been sitting in one position for so long that, when you finally stand up, your foot suddenly feels like it doesn't belong to you? You try to move it, nothing. You take one step, and suddenly it feels like hundreds of tiny needles are attacking your skin. For a few seconds, walking normally becomes almost impossible. But here's the strange part. Your foot hasn't actually fallen asleep. So what is really happening? When you sit in one position for too long, you can put pressure on the nerves around your leg or foot. This temporarily interferes with the signals traveling between your nerves and your brain. And that's when things start feeling weird. Your foot becomes numb, heavy, or strangely disconnected from the rest of your body. Then, as you move and take the pressure away, those nerve signals begin returning to normal. That's when the famous pins and needles sensation kicks in. It can feel uncomfortable, almost like your foot is waking up from a deep sleep. And that's probably why we gave it such a strange name in the first place. But think about how bizarre this really is. For a few moments, your brain can barely understand what your own foot is telling it. You know the foot is still there, you can see it, but your body temporarily loses its normal connection with it. So the next time your foot falls asleep, don't panic. It's not actually sleeping. It's just your nervous system, briefly losing the connection, and then slowly finding its way back. Stomach growling. Why does your stomach make weird noises? Have you ever been sitting in a completely silent room when suddenly your stomach makes a sound loud enough to feel like everyone heard it? You immediately look around, hoping nobody noticed. But here's the strange part. Your stomach doesn't only growl when you're hungry. Sometimes, you can eat a huge meal and still hear those weird noises coming from inside you. So what's actually happening down there? The sound isn't really coming from your stomach alone. Your entire digestive system is constantly moving things around: food, liquid, and even gas. Muscles along your digestive tract squeeze and relax, pushing everything forward. And when those movements happen while there's more empty space inside, the sounds can become much louder. That's why your stomach seems to have the worst possible timing. When you're sitting quietly in class, during an important meeting, or lying in bed at night, that tiny movement inside your body can suddenly sound like a monster waking up. And here's something even stranger. Sometimes your stomach growls because your digestive system is preparing for food, even before you've eaten anything. It's almost like your body is saying, "Don't worry, I'm getting everything ready." So the next time your stomach suddenly starts making noises, don't be embarrassed. It's not necessarily demanding food. Your digestive system is simply doing its job, moving, mixing, and making sounds that your body has been producing your entire life. You just don't usually hear them until the world around you becomes quiet enough. Sneezing. Why can't you stop a sneeze once it starts? Have you ever felt that tiny tickle inside your nose and immediately knew what was coming? You try to fight it. You hold your breath. You squeeze your nose. You tell yourself, "Not now." But your body has already made the decision. Achoo! In just a fraction of a second, your entire body joins in. Your eyes squeeze shut. Your chest tightens. Your face changes. And air suddenly shoots out of your nose and mouth. But why does your body go through all this drama just because of a little dust? A sneeze is basically your body's emergency cleaning system. When something irritating enters your nose like dust, pollen, smoke, or even tiny particles, you have sensitive nerves that detect it and send an urgent message to your brain. Your brain then triggers a powerful reflex designed to get that unwanted visitor out as quickly as possible. That's why a sneeze can feel so explosive. And here's something even stranger. Sometimes your body can sneeze because of bright light, cold air, strong smells, or other unexpected triggers. Some people even sneeze when they suddenly look toward the sun. But the strangest part might be what happens when you feel a sneeze coming and then it disappears. You were completely certain it was about to happen, and suddenly nothing. The sneeze simply vanishes, like your body changed its mind at the last second. So the next time you sneeze, don't think of it as your body malfunctioning. It's actually doing exactly what it was designed to do, detecting something it doesn't like, and launching it out before you even have time to think. Dreams. Why do your dreams feel so real? Have you ever woken up from a dream and, for a few seconds, genuinely believed it had happened? Maybe you were talking to someone you haven't seen in years, running from something terrifying, or suddenly living a completely different life. Everything felt real, the places, the people, the emotions, even the fear. Then you open your eyes and realize none of it actually happened. But here's the strange part. While you're dreaming, your brain doesn't always know the difference. During certain stages of sleep, especially REM sleep, your brain becomes surprisingly active. It can create entire scenes, voices, faces, and stories using fragments of memories and imagination. At the same time, the parts of your brain responsible for careful reasoning and questioning what's real become less active. That's why the most ridiculous things can seem completely normal in a dream. You could be flying through your neighborhood, talking to a person who doesn't exist, and somehow your brain just accepts it. And then there's the emotional side. Dreams can make you feel genuine happiness, fear, embarrassment, or even heartbreak, and those emotions can stay with you after you wake up. It's almost like your brain creates a movie, puts you inside it, and temporarily removes the ability to question the plot. The strangest part, you can spend hours inside a dream that may feel like an entire story, only to wake up and remember almost nothing. So the next time you wake up wondering, what on earth was that? Remember, while you were asleep, your brain was busy creating a reality of its own. And for a few moments, you believed every second of it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, so you never miss out on more fun, exciting, and interesting videos coming your way. And don't be shy, leave a comment below, and tell me what you'd love to see next. See you in my next video.